Several remote job opportunities are being posted every day in the IT space, and you've probably come across a lot of these roles, maybe roles related to cloud computing, cybersecurity, data science, data marketing, and a whole lot. And you're wondering how you can get yourself started to the point where you want to get yourself one of these remote roles. Yes, the remote roles always have very good pay packages as far as some of them are concerned, and you want to get yourself started with some of this role and you're wondering how you can get started without. Make sure to stay to the end of this video because I'll be mentioning to you 5 things which you can do to effectively get yourself started with a remote job or with a remote opportunity this year. Hi, if you are new to this channel, this is Devops with Mike, and in this channel I share a lot of content that can help you get yourself started with IT related skills, and equally I've shared a lot of content around DevOps and cloud computing which you can use to gain experience on different DevOps or different cloud computing platforms. So you want to watch my other videos with respect to DevOps and cloud computing and general videos to help you equally ace yourself for your next DevOps or cloud related interview. So what are the things which you can do, or what are the things which you can invest in to get yourself started with a remote job opportunity this year? The very first tip which I'll give you is pick a skill. You want to get started with IT and you're wondering which particular skill is best for you. You want to take some time to basically research different opportunities. Do you want to get started with cybersecurity? Do you want to get started with data science? Do you want to get started with data analytics? Do you want to get started with database administration, cloud computing, cybersecurity, whatever the case might be? Make sure you get yourself a skill. Okay, if you've decided that you want to pick a skill like DevOps or cloud computing, how or what is DevOps and what is cloud computing? If you pick a skill like cybersecurity, what is cybersecurity? If you pick a skill like database administration, what is database administration? And the list continues. So the very first thing is to identify that one skill which you want to get yourself started with. Now, to pick an IT skill doesn't necessarily mean that you must have prior experience with respect to that skill. You might want to start learning cybersecurity or DevOps and cloud computing, and you're wondering, okay, I don't have an engineering background, I don't have a mathematics background. Can this be a good fit for me? Absolutely, yes. You can get started with any IT career path if you have absolutely no prior IT experience. So the key thing first is for you to select that one skill which you want to learn as far as remote jobs or as far as IT skills are concerned. And like I mentioned, we have a lot of the skills available: cybersecurity, data science, machine learning, DevOps and cloud computing, and other related fields, graphic designs, UI UX experience design, software development, and so on. So first, pick a skill that you want to get yourself started with, and then you can move on to doing the other steps which I'll be sharing in this video. Now, after you pick the skill, the next thing is for you to work on hands-on projects. If you picked Amazon Web Service, for example, you want to get yourself started with Amazon Web Service. How do you get yourself familiar with the Amazon Web Service cloud platform? So with you getting yourself familiar with the Amazon Web Service platform, you pick key services on that particular platform or on that particular service or that particular IT career you want to pursue. You pick the key services. You start studying what each of those services are meant to do, how you can provision some of those services on a given platform. If it's security, how can you do intelligent threat detection? How can you do vulnerability scanning? How can you do ethical hacking, whatever the case might be? So you pick a skill, you start gaining the necessary experience with respect to that skill. And you can only gain those necessary experience by working on hands-on projects. The hands-on projects basically in some cases will be run books or available documentations, which if you scan through some of these documentations, you'll see step-by-step guides for you to be able to do or provision some of these resources. So spend a lot of time doing hands-on projects, spend a lot of time going to the various platforms, creating the resources, manipulating those resources, terminating the resources, connecting the resources to other set of resources. And once you do that, you find out that you'll be able to gain the necessary experience which most of the remote job opportunities you find require. There's no way you're getting a job remote without having the right skill, especially in the era in which we are, where there's a lot of competition with many people claiming they have a given skill set which they actually don't. So spend a lot of time building the hands-on or the necessary hands-on experience with respect to the skill which you've selected to learn. Now, the third thing, remember, we are looking at how you can get yourself started with a remote job opportunity this year. After you've picked a skill and build the necessary hands-on experience, the next thing for you is to build your portfolio. Now, a portfolio basically is the way which you can document most of the projects which you have been working on. Take, for example, you've been doing DevOps and cloud computing. There's a probability that you've worked on different projects with respect to DevOps and cloud computing, continuous integration projects, Terraform automation or infrastructure automation projects. You've maybe done some orchestration projects. You've done some general cloud provisioning projects, and whatever the case might be. You want to effectively document all of the projects which you've done through a project portfolio. Project portfolios help you to easily document your experience with respect to a given technology or with respect to a given IT career. So make sure you're making adequate use, or make sure you're spending sufficient time building a project or building a portfolio for all the projects or for all the practical exercises which you do with respect to a particular skill set. Because sometimes when you start applying for jobs, some of these portfolios which you build will be the requirements which you use to share to potential recruiters that will help you to get yourself the roles that you require. So spend so much time building your project portfolio. There are many platforms which you can use to build a project portfolio. You can use LinkedIn to document. There are many platforms which you can use to build a project portfolio. You can start by GitHub. You can build a GitHub repository, store a lot of components with respect to your application on GitHub, and then share some of your GitHub repositories in a public community, which is what we'll see subsequently. And then we equally have the platform WonderPrep. You can use WonderPrep to build a project portfolio that will equally give you the possibility to document all the projects which you've been able to do with respect to your skill set. So you want to spend adequate time trying to document, or you want to spend adequate time documenting all the key projects which you've done with respect to the key services in the particular skill set which you've chosen to learn. Now, the fourth step is for you to build your social presence. You want to get a job, there's no way you can get a job just by learning the skills or by just building a project portfolio. The project portfolio you are building is because you want to share it across different platforms for potential recruiters or for potential experts in the industry to connect with you and share possible job opportunities with you. So you build a skill, you build the right hands-on experience with respect to that skill, and then after building the right hands-on experience with respect to that skill, you build a project portfolio, and then you do adequate networking. It's through the networking that you're able to connect with recruiters on several networking platforms. We have one of the biggest professional community platform, which is LinkedIn. You can go on LinkedIn, you create a LinkedIn account, you share your profile on LinkedIn with respect to others in the industry doing a similar skill as yourself. If you go to LinkedIn, you'll see experts, maybe software developers in LinkedIn. You'll find DevOps engineers on LinkedIn, cybersecurity experts, and so on. So once you get to the platform, you start looking out for those who have the same skill set or who have the same career path as yourself, and you start networking with those people. Now, as you start creating some of those networks, if you're having a resume on your platform, or you're having a resume on your account, or you've customized your portfolio very well on such platforms, you can easily attract recruiters. Most often, many people who are actually having IT related jobs, most of them have been contacted through some of these job search platforms, LinkedIn, Dice, Indeed, and so on. So recruiters come to those platforms, check out their project portfolios. For project portfolios that look interesting, some of the recruiters reach out to them and get them hired. So spend so much time enforcing or ensuring that you have a good social presence, especially on platforms like LinkedIn. Once again, if you're not yet subscribed to my channel, please hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share this video to someone who is currently looking out to creating or starting a career with respect to IT. Now, the last tip which I'll share to you if you're interested in getting yourself a remote job this year is, once you've picked the right skill set, build the necessary hands-on experience, build your project portfolio, network with the right people, you want to create a resume which you'll be using to apply for jobs. Most of the IT related careers will always require you to have a given set of skills. So you create a resume, you list out these key skills on your resume, you list out maybe how long you've used those skills, you explain the usage of some of those skills in the various responsibilities you had in your company, and then once you have all of that, that will help you to build a very good and compelling resume. Now, with the help of a good and compelling resume, you can be able to easily share with recruiters, and recruiters will know how much experience you have on a given technology which you claim you have experience with. And after that, it doesn't end at building a resume and applying for jobs. Basically, it goes further to you being in a continuous learning process. Now, being in a continuous learning process is basically what will make you stand out with respect to a particular skill set which you're earning, because technology is one of the fields where there are a lot of modifications, there are a lot of new changes, there are a lot of new tools being released every day to solve different problems. And if you remain with a particular set of technology, you find out that after a given period of time, you are obsolete or no longer needed by a given company. So spend a lot of time building the right networks on various professional networking platforms, and after that, spend a lot more time gaining the necessary skills by doing continuous learning. Through continuous learning, if you pick a particular concept, you're looking out to understand that concept, you read a little bit about the concept, you can check various versions or various variations with respect to that given project. So those are the key things which you should always take note of when looking out to starting a community. Okay, software development and so on. Pick the skill. That's the first thing. After you've picked the skill, go ahead to start building your necessary hands-on experience with respect to this given skill that you've selected. If it is Amazon Web Service, you build the necessary experience around Amazon Web Service related services. If it is Kubernetes, you understand how Kubernetes works in different production grade environments and so on. So pick the skill, gain the necessary hands-on experience with respect to that skill, and then after, the third thing, you build you build a very compelling project portfolio or personal portfolio where you can easily use to share your achievements or to share the success of some of the projects which you're working on. And the fourth thing, you must be able to network rightly. You network rightly with those who are in the industry. You give them the possibility to know what you're up to, what project you're working with, what team you're working with. And then lastly, you should be able to build a compelling resume, apply for the jobs, and equally go the extra mile to build the necessary experience, because like we mentioned, the DevOps field is one of the fields that are constantly changing. So you must be in a continuous learning loop. I hope this video has been helpful to you. If you love the video, hit the like button, share this video to someone who might be interested in, and then spend a lot of time trying to understand some of these different skill set and which will be best suitable for you. But before I leave, let me know in the comment section which skill you're interested in learning, or maybe which skill you find most interesting, and we'll see how to have a good conversation from that. See you.